So, Steve Witkoff's disastrous role in the failed Trump Putin summit in Alaska is now the clearest example yet of what happens when loyalty and wealth are prioritized over competence and experience. This and maybe RFK Jr. Now, Witkoff is a real estate developer with zero diplomatic background and has handled the title of Trump's special envoy to the Middle East. We've seen how great that's gone, and then elevated into high stakes negotiations with Putin. According to multiple sources, his misreading of Putin's language during an August 6th meeting in Moscow set the stage for catastrophe. Witkoff convinced Trump that Putin was ready to trade Zaporizhia and Kherson for Donetsk and Luhansk, when in reality, Putin was demanding Ukraine withdraw from those occupied territories entirely with no concessions in return. This catastrophic misunderstanding pushed Trump into rushing into a summit on August 15th, which is 2 weeks ago today, under false pretenses, only for it to collapse in public embarrassment. European leaders and Ukrainian officials were stunned, with one former US ambassador calling it deeply damaging incompetence. Putin never had any intention of giving ground and instead walked away with propaganda material. Trump looked desperate, and Ukraine looked cornered by Washington's blunders. And as I've said before, Putin was able to show to his domestic audience that he's on equal ground with the President of the United States, and even possibly his superior. Witkoff, meanwhile, defended his amateur role by saying he was, quote, here to bring two sides together and fix the stupid thing, end quote. Very diplomatic. Good job, Witkoff. The problem, according to those inside the administration, was that he didn't bother to read intelligence briefings. He refused to consult experts and often parroted Moscow's false narratives that Russia was, quote, winning on the front lines, end quote. His pattern of dropping into meetings, freelancing policy, and then disappearing into his private business life left U.S. officials scrambling. One staffer described him as kind of a rogue actor, and another said he'll pop in for Putin, say a bunch of stuff, not tell anyone what happened, and then fuck off to his life again. End quote. The debacle exposed the broader rot in Trump's second-term cabinet, which analysts across the political spectrum, even former Trump cabinet members, are calling the worst in American history. Trump's appointments have been dominated by loyalty tests, media personalities, and partisan hacks rather than seasoned professionals. Critics have described it as a groupthink cabinet, quote, the epitome of the Bay of Pigs dynamic, where dissent is crushed and only sycophancy survives. Figures like Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Christine Noem have been singled out as the worst picks in the worst cabinet in U.S. history. Even Republican veterans on the Hill and across the country admit it rivals the most dysfunctional administrations ever assembled. Other media outlets have warned that it is not just incompetence, but a structural design for authoritarian control. Bad people making bad decisions because the president demands obedience, not expertise. This is not the team of rivals approach that Lincoln had. This is not the least smartest man in the room as Reagan approached it. This is just the worst. The Alaska summit underscores the danger here. Trump handed foreign policy to an unqualified real estate developer who garbled Putin's words and handed Moscow leverage. Ukraine came away with nothing. NATO allies came away humiliated. Russia came away emboldened, and Trump's inner circle defended it as progress, claiming the talks paved the way for peace, even though no ceasefire, no concessions, and no agreements were reached. And still, we see Trump kowtowing to Putin right now to this day. Oh, and not to mention Russia continues to kill children. The bigger story is what Trump's leadership style reveals. He thrives on chaos, elevates loyalists over experts, and consistently leaves America weaker while empowering adversaries like Putin. The result is not just mismanagement, but strategic malpractice. Trump's cabinet is more than a parade of unqualified figures. It's a machine for self-inflicted failure. And in Alaska, the whole world saw the cost. Ukraine was undermined, allies were blindsided, the United States looked like fools, and Russia left holding the upper hand.